quote, today, with the cost of creating content being close to zero, people can share an incredible amount of content. This has sparked my curiosity about the concept of long shelf life versus short shelf life, Eck tweeted on X. There you go. Musicians, songwriters, and producers, among others, immediately took to social media to criticize X's comment, with some pointing out the considerable costs associated with music, including for training, equipment, and production, etc. For example, in reply to X post, New Age artist Cheryl B. Engelhart said she's put thousands of dollars into making her music. I created my Grammy-nominated album on a cross-country train, completely produced and mixed it myself. I was able to do that because of the thousands of dollars spent on quality sounds, my education, my gear. Please get a clue and maybe talk to real musicians. And the article goes on to sort of talk about more of the critique. I watched this sort of happen over the weekend, and there was a lot of musicians that were really just melting down over this. So it reminded me so much of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where he says he's not wrong, but he's out of line. And yeah, I mean, well, what did you think of it?
Maybe it's just my current mood. That so what? So there's one word he didn't put into that tweet. It's additive content. Like, everybody knows that it costs a lot. Like, right now, let's talk about this show. You and I are talking to each other. We're using StreamYard. We have thousands of dollars in equipment that we've had, 30 plus years of training and experience and whatever. All that's cost money and time and whatever. But the additive cost of this show is a couple cents. That's what the CEO of Spotify is talking about. So he missed one word. Like, I swear everybody's just got to get their bent out of shape over whatever. I don't see a problem on what the guy said. He missed one word.
Again, he's not wrong either. So I think exactly to your point, to me, where he messed up, and this is something I've talked about for years, ever since we started talking about, things like content shock and all that kind of stuff, that, the democratization of content, et cetera, which has been I mean, the fact that he's just discovering this now, and by the way, I have zero idea of how he's connecting this with Marcus Aurelius, but that's a whole other discussion. The interesting thing to me is that it's not creation of content. The cost is zero, because it does cost. It costs time, education, just exactly what you said. Like, there is an accumulated cost for creating content that has always been there. It's been there from when Og and Grok were in their caves trying to figure out, how to get the right dye to put, on the wall with their painting, the buffalo hunt or whatever. So what has been democratized, and the cost is almost zero, is the distribution of content. That's what he meant. What he was trying to say is, getting your content out into the world, the cost is almost zero. And the reason I believe that's what he meant is because he tagged it with the idea of the short shelf life versus the long shelf life. Because the democratization of distribution is so low, in other words, the cost is so low to do something almost zero, to put it on YouTube, to put it on, to put it on your website, to put it on in an email, to put it wherever you're going to put it. That cost is so low that it actually does start to question whether or not you can build long-term shelf life with content, because so much of it gets replaced. And we've talked about that so often on this show in philosophical discussions, where we said, is it even possible to be a long-term star anymore? I mean, I was looking at U2. There's a fun U2 on TikTok that's going around right now, which is literally their first ever TV performance in 1980. And they were kids, and nobody would have predicted that in 1980 this band would still be hot and relevant and present today. The shelf life of their music would be, present in, 44 years later. So that the change there is really the shelf life, or the long-term life of musicians can you even create something that's going to last 40 years today?